Well, ladies and gentlemen, after getting sacked by Grimsby Town in yesterday's episode, we are here for the summer transfer window with Forest Green Rovers, our third new club. And we've already made our first transfer. Welcome to our Zero to Hero series and part 1 of Club 3, where we're going to be looking at Forest Green Rovers in the Sky Bet League 2, doing the summer transfer windows and trying to build a club that is ready to get promoted. If you have a look, now we've got a lot of people released from the club. That club that we looked at yesterday and the squad is looking a lot thinner. There was 27 players in here. If we have a look at it now, there's only 19. So lots of players have just left. We've gone through to the 1st of July. They've all left today. They've all disappeared. They've decided to leave. Of these players, there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4 at least that aren't going to get any game time, that either need to go out on loan or just be sold. There's a couple there as well, 2.5 stars, Kieran Wallace and Corey O'Keefe, that probably don't get any game time either. As I mentioned, though, we have made our first signing at Forest Green Rovers already, though, and that is in the form of this guy whose name I'm never going to be able to pronounce, but it's Vangelis Goriogius. That's definitely not how you say that. Georgiosis, I assume you'd say that. He is a central midfielder. He can play as a Mazzalo. He's only 18 years old, Greek. He's got 15 under 21 caps already for Greece, and he's just coming to be our Mazzala. As we can see, he's already at Sky Bet League 2 standard. He could be potentially a championship level player. We have paid a bit of money for him to get here, £400,000. It's not all up front. A little bit of that is in installments. If we have a look at our budgets then, heading into this summer transfer window, we've got 1.7 million left to spend, and we've got quite a bit spare in the wage budget, £18,000 to spend, in fact, to just try and build a club here that's going to, you know, get into the playoffs. Realistically, I would think is the aim. The board want us to reach those playoffs. The supporters, if we have a look at them, they want us to reach the playoffs as well. And we've told the team in our pre-season meeting that we're going to get to the playoffs. So playoffs is definitely the aim this season. At the moment, this is what our starting 11 would look like. I have some concerns with it. There's a few issues. McGee is definitely the goalkeeper we're starting with. I think we need a backup to him, though, because our backup goalkeeper is Dan Lincoln, and he's really not that good. So if we got an injury to McGee, or we got suspended or anything, we are going to struggle. Over at left back at the moment, we've got Wallace. I mean, he's all right, but he is only National League, so I think we definitely need a left back to go in there. In the centre of the park, Moore Taylor, I think definitely starts. And Kirk probably starts alongside him, who has a bit of potential to grow as well. But then in behind them, there's not really a lot of depth. So definitely some centre-backs need to come in. We've got James Gibbons over at right back. I'd be perfectly happy with him. But if we do a drop down on here, we've kind of got Robinson, who could probably play in there, but again, is realistically a right winger. So we need a right back as well. Actually, I'm just going to move my face because it's going to be easier for you guys. There we go. So we deal without my face for a minute. We've then got defensive midfielder. We've got Callum Jones playing in there. We have got Connor Thomas, who can play in there as well. So we do have a little bit of depth there, but not a huge amount really. Midfield is definitely a little bit stretched. We've got James Jones playing as the ball-winning midfielder. All these other players who could replace him are already in the team. So then we come down to O'Keefe, who could play there, or Thomas. So probably another midfielder needed. In here, we've got our new signing, Georgius. I'm going to call him Georgius, and you can all tell me down in the comment section it's wrong. We've got Georgius playing there. Liam Burke could play in behind him, potentially. But definitely need a couple of central midfielders to cover the centre midfielder and the defensive midfielder part. Over on the left, I think we're all right. We've got Kanate and we've got Liam Burt. I'd be happy with just those two. And Robertson and Matt Briggs can cover if we need to. Over on the other side, Robertson, Kanate can cover there. Liam Burt can cover there. And some other players up front. We have then got Joe McGlynn. Do you know what? On paper, McGlynn is okay. We said this in the last episode. Deep lying forward. We can play him as an advanced forward, which is what he'd fit in as. But only 9 goals last season leaves me a little bit worried. So if I can get a striker in, I'm going to do so. We've got Jack Marriott as well. We could put him in there. He's quite good as an advanced forward, but again, not a lot of goals. ever, really. So I don't know that he's going to be ideal either. So if we can get a striker in, that would be fantastic. So lots and lots to do in this transfer window. As we are on the 1st of July, though, we do obviously have players that have been released. So we can get we have got a full staffing contingent. We've hired some scouts. We've hired a director of football. Actually, we already had a director of football. We've hired some coaches. We've got a decent coaching team and scouting team. We need to get those to go and find us some players that we can bring into this side and hopefully, like I said, go and challenge for those playoffs. We have a look at the moment in the Sky Bet League 2 and the season preview. We are expected to finish 4th in the playoffs. I think that would be very respectable. I'm hoping by the end of this transfer window, we could maybe be slotting into one of these and go up a bit. Ideally, not going down. We're not playing a 4-4-2. It's not something I want to do this season. I want to be more defensively solid and more attacking. And I think 4-3-3 is the right way to do that. For now, though, we're going to play through a little bit. I'm going to try and get some players come in. I'll come back when we make some more signings. Well, it is the 14th of July. It's 2 weeks since I last saw you guys, and we have just brought in our second signing of the season. We said we needed another goalkeeper because we really didn't have enough depth in that area. And we have brought in Dermot Mee. He's a 22-year-old goalkeeper coming over from Woking, who were in the National League. We spent £80,000 to meet his release clause, and he comes in apparently as a better goalkeeper than Luke McGee. I'm going to question that severely, if I'm honest, but he does have the potential to improve that our current goalkeeper doesn't have, so he could end up being quite a good signing. If nothing else, 22 years old, he's going to sit there on the bench. He's definitely a vast improvement on our backup goalkeeper, which was Dan Lincoln, or our other backup goalkeeper, which is this guy, Harry Jones, who honestly just needs to be released at this point. Dan Lincoln is developing concerns. Oh no, discuss issue with Lincoln. Lincoln, mate, I hate to tell you this, but you're probably never ever going to get into the team. You probably, if you want some game time, need to leave. We have got quite a lot of players on trial as well. Some of them are better than others. Some of them want an obscene amount of money. We've got some good players in, but when they want Harrison Holgate, for those of you who watched the Taunton part of this save, some of them want obscene amount of money. Some of them, like Harrison Holgate, who was released by Taunton, not really good enough. He came up, so we had a gander, but realistically not a player at the moment that is going to be good enough for this team here at Forest Green. We're heading forward in the summer transfer window, though. We have got lots and lots and lots and lots of contracts offered at the moment. We're not expecting most of those to go through, if we're honest. Most of these players are under offer from other clubs as well. I definitely think we still need a striker, which is what we're struggling to find at the moment. We definitely need some more depth. But we've got players in. We're slowly getting them in. We've still got lots of time in this transfer window to have a scout of players. We are finding players like this as well. There could be a nice strike for the future. 19-year-old Oliver Iro over at Spurs at the moment. Decent pace on him. Good natural fitness. Pretty decent dribbling, finishing and first touch, if not spectacular. What are analysts saying? Current League 2 could be Championship standard, and he would cost us that much money. That might be worth a punt. Let's have a talk to his agent a second. We're keen on signing him. He would think Spurs would want between 170 and 500,000 to make a deal possible, and he'd want wages of about 2.4 to 3.2 per week. I think we could probably do that. Can you lower his wages? No, maybe not, because my thought is if we do bring him in, we can get rid of Jack Marriott. He's probably at the age of 30, not going to improve. He didn't score a lot of goals, and he's on £3,400 a week. So I think Oliver Iro would be a much better signing. We'll see if that pans off or not. And much like I said a minute ago, when we were looking at all of those players we'd offered contracts, now they are all heading off to other clubs. Billy Heaps was one of them. He looked like he would be a good player for the future. He's gone over to Cambridge. This guy has gone to Colchester. Lewis Kaz has gone to Birmingham. Hutchison has gone to Deportivo, which I guess makes sense. Finley Armstrong also going to Birmingham. And all of those transfers deciding not to join the club means the only player we've now got potentially coming in is the one we just looked at a minute ago, which is Olivier Iro, who's our English striker. We are the only club in for him. He has had... Oh, no, we're not the only club in for him. We're the only club that's made a bid currently. So hopefully he is coming to us to play as either our striker or as our inverted winger over on the right. We have brought in another player just as a bit of a rotation option. We got Matt Jay in, formerly of Exeter City, on a free. I think he spent his entire life at Exeter before they've released him at the age of 29. But he can fulfill a little bit of squad depth in midfield as a Mazzala. He can play as a striker as well. And if you really need him to, he can play out on the left, although he's not ideal there. But a little bit of squad depth. What it does mean, though, is we still have got quite a thin squad. We have still got players in on trial, quite a few of them. So maybe it's now time to go and revisit some of these guys, and we have a bit of wage to talk to them and just try and continue building this squad. We have still got money, almost 1.7 million. We have put up some players for transfers as well. If we just hide these loan and trial players again, Murphy Bennett, Dan Lincoln has already got a bid on him after complaining about Dermot Me, sorry. Matt Briggs, and also Alex Healy-Bryan, who was on the transfer list when we got here. So those guys could potentially be leaving. It's still quite a small squad considering we got here. We were worried it was too large. So we continue with the transfer window. We are on the 19th of July. Our first game in the league is on the 9th of August. So we've got about 3 weeks left before we get to that game. Hopefully we have the bones of a squad by the time we get there. Well, we've either just signed our main striker for the season or our main right winger. We're not sure which one he is yet, but Oliver Iro, after weeks of negotiations, I'm not sure why it took so long, has joined the club. I think he's most likely going to be our striker for this season. If we have a look at him, he's Sky Bet League 2 standard at the moment, could be Sky Bet League 1. We've ended up paying £175,000 for him to get him from Spurs. I think he'll be worth it. We're paying him £2,000 a week as well. I think we leave it for a minute, but if we do begin to struggle in terms of wage budget or bringing players in, and Jack Marriott, as I mentioned earlier, can leave the club, we could play him over here as well, maybe as an inside forward, maybe as an inverted winger, but his crossing is not exactly great. We're going to ask Moore Taylor to welcome him to the club. We have still got a lot of transfers going on, mainly in the defensive department, because we haven't really been able to sign anyone there yet. Everyone we have tried to sign has gone and ended up joining other clubs, and we're getting closer and closer. We're now 14 days away from the first match of the season, which is against Stevenage, and we'd quite like to have some sort of team prepared, especially defensively. We obviously, this is what's happening. We've offered a contract to James Wilson. He's ended up going with Hamilton, who are in the Scottish Premier League. So again, fair enough. I think we've got to decide some squad numbers. We'll just auto number them because I'm a monster. And there is another signing just coming through, one of our defensive ones, which is Aaron Pickles. So as soon as this is caught up, we'll have a little bit of a look at him. Here is Pickles then, our centre-back, 20 years old. He's come in from Accrington. He was on loan at Oldham in the National League last season. He's made the step up to League 2 this season for £400,000. Central defender, as we can see, current ability of 3 stars with a 3.5, maybe 5, maybe 4.5. We don't really know. Potential for the future. He's only 20 years old as well, which is ideal because they want us to sign players for the first team under the age of 23. So Aaron Pickles suits that perfectly. We seem to be getting a lot of these as well, where we have kind of a little bit of a scouting report, but not the full thing. We'll just get the scouting department to scout some of these guys. Charlie Wiggett is another player we're currently in for. Tolo Lapido. I mean, he looks semi-decent. I don't know if he's any better than what we've got, though. But again, we'll give him... Oh, we can't scout him. We've scouted him to full knowledge already. Okay. That doesn't look like full knowledge to me. What are we saying? North-South standard player? Yeah, I don't think we want him this season. We've done that before. As you can see, we've got quite a lot of reports to go through still. We've still got a potential 4 transfers coming in. 2 McDonald's in the team already. We already have, if we have a look at the tactics a second, 2 Jones. Let's have 2 McDonald's as well. And we'll make it all really, really confusing for me. Well, we have ended up signing another McDonald, this time Finley McDonald, an 18-year-old winger with 3-star current ability and a potential to go all the way up to championship level, which is kind of what we're doing this season. We're kind of building as if we've got promoted to the league above already and bringing in that type of players. We'll have a quick look at Finley McDonald. He can play over on the right. He can play on the left as well, just not as well. And he can play up front. I don't know what world we'd want him to play up front, but he can play there. He will have to play as a winger over on this right-hand side, though. He's got fairly professional personality, and although we currently have this set up with an inverted winger, I thought it was realistically worth bringing him in. And actually, Robertson, who's likely to play there as well, plays better as a winger. So I think actually we should probably play him there. We then put Finley McDonald in there. And then up front is Oliver Iro, because I think he's probably got the most potential to do something this season. I think that also means, with the fact that if we have a look at the squad planner a second, oh, this is a mess, isn't it? We'll get rid of all of these. Let's see if we can just hide not currently at club. There we go. So we've got Jack Marriott. Ask the assistant to suggest for this. Jack Marriott is apparently our best striker at this club, but I have questions about that. We've got Joe McGlynn, we've got Matt J that can play there, Oliver Iro. I don't think we need Jack Marriott as well. I think Jack Marriott can probably, he might not react well to being offered to other clubs. Sway to leave? I want to let you know before I actually do it, I'm going to offer you out as a transfer. I'm afraid I can't find... Okay, fine. We don't want to upset the dynamics yet, so we'll leave him at the club. Harry Jones, one of our youth players, is going out on loan. Charlie Wiggett, we need to adjust the transfer budget. We're just going to delay that for a week, just because we have got other players still joining. I think Charlie Wiggett and Callum McDonald potentially coming in. So we'll have a look at that. Hopefully, we can get both those players in and we'll kind of be set for the season ahead. That is probably the least convenient time for this to happen literally ever. Aaron Pickles comes in, instantly gets injured for 4 weeks to 2 months, 4 or 5 weeks. Really not in, it's really just not helpful, is it? I mean, at centre-back now, if we hide this again, filter, not currently at club, Jordan Moore, Taylor again, and now we've got Alex Kirk and Aaron Pickles is injured. So we have the same problem we had before, which is we have a lack of centre-backs. We have potentially got Charlie Wiggett coming in, but that still only leaves us with 3 centre-backs. So we probably, I mean, do we need to sign another? This is the thing. We have still got Wallace who can play there, but he needs to cover at left back. And then the ones we got down below that are pretty awful. So Ion Toll, it is probably your lucky day. What do you want if you used to join the club? That's a lot of money. We're not paying that for someone that we don't really particularly want. Oh, this is a long transfer window. It is very difficult doing this transfer window. Lots and lots of players in on trial. Lots of players deciding to join other clubs. We're now 7 days away from the first game of the season. I don't feel like the team is fully ready yet. We've still got a week. So we have arrived at the day of the first match of the season. We've brought in a few more signings since then. Callum McDonald, our second McDonald of the transfer window, comes in at left back. He's going to be our first choice left back this season. Currently a good Sky Bet League 2 player with the potential to improve should we get promoted to the league above, which is nice. We paid 195,000 for him. We then paid 400,000 for Charlie Wiggett, who we already had coming in. Again, he's a good, solid player for this season with the potential to improve. At centre-back, he prefers playing as a nonsense centre-back, which is not what we're going to be doing. But Charlie Wiggett in there. And then our final signing is another centre-back, Fagan Walcott, who comes in as probably, I believe, our best central defender. The ability at the moment of a League One player and the potential to grow into a Championship player as well. So we've done really well getting him in. We actually got him as well on a free. He was just wandering around in the wilderness without a club. We have had to pay him £3,100, and it does mean we spent all our transfer budget. We've got £8,000 left. We kind of have a squad at the moment. This is our best lineup as it stands with injuries and the like, which is McGee in goal. Actually, is McGee meant to be in there? Yeah, McGee in there. McDonald, Moore Taylor, Fagan Walcott, and then Robertson over at right back. We would probably be playing other players that actually, if I get rid of this, unavailable, and we'll just get rid of on loan or trial. So we'd probably be playing Gibbons in there. But actually he's injured. Robertson is probably better and a bit more attacking. I think we probably change this back to support now as well. We then got Callum Jones at the base of midfield behind James Jones and Georgius. I don't know how you say his name. Vangelis is probably easier to say, which is his first name. So Vangelis there. Kanate on the left, McDonald on the right, and Iro up front. And then that is our bench over here, as you guys can see. I think what we do need to probably do, if we're going to strengthen this side anymore, is probably bring in a right back, and then I think we're about done. Why is McDonald only showing up at that? Oh, because he prefers being on support. What about Kanate on this side? You prefer being an inverted winger on support? Can we put you on attack? Yeah, we can put Kanate on attack. We could put McDonald at that point on a support. We're just kind of making this up as we go along. And then Robertson on the attack on that side. So we've just swapped that round. And then everyone, I mean, the worst player on the field is Robertson at right back. We've then got Jones in here, who is only 2.5 stars, but we don't really have an improvement there without putting Callum Jones in, and we don't really have an improvement for him. So that's going to be the side going into the season. We've still got a little bit of money to spend, not in terms of transfer budget now. We've got only one other player potentially coming in, which is Hayden Hackney. He would become the best ball-winning midfielder at the club, so he would start. And then we just need to have a look, probably, if we look at scouted players, if we can bring in any loans for any positions. I mean, at right back, we've got some that could be good, but aren't really at the moment. If we take that off and we just have a look, who are the best players we could bring in? I mean, there are a few on here that could be interesting to have a look at for a loan. But at the moment, our big thing in terms of scouting is looking for a right back, which we are trying to do as quickly as possible. If you are excited for this new season, though, with Forest Green Rovers, please drop a like down below. Let me know in the comments as well, who is your favourite signing of this window? Who do you think is going to be the best player for this next season with Forest Green Rovers? Until next time, though, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on tomorrow's episode for our first 2 games with Forest Green.